The Uganda we want. So mu Uganda gye twagala mu lutalo luno olw'okulwanyisa obulabbayo obukenuzi nze kyempita obuvundu. Munna Uganda alina okuba nga yeenyigiramu.
Ffenna twenyigire mu lutalo.
Ate abalala tebasomye kuzimba wabula bayize okuzimba.
Uganda gye twagala okulaba ng'enguudo zonna nkole nungi, public transport nga weeri.
Kati eno gavumenti eriwo erina akabonero ka Lucifer. Buli kyotunulako mu Uganda kiriko oxygen. Either babika amawulire malungi oba mawulire mabi. Minisita teyeetagisa kabangali budde buno zaki.
At this time, why should somebody import furniture from outside Uganda? Let us leave NRM to be in charge for another 36 years or more.
I really want to see a Uganda that believes in the rule of law. If you have a constitution in place, follow it to the letter. Don't change laws just because you want them to favor you.
Kuba njagala omanye nti obugagga bwonna Uganda bwe yeeyagaliramu buyita waffe ku ttaka lyaffe. Naye Busoga mugidibaze.
How can a referral hospital refer you to a private clinic? The Uganda we want buli muntu ateekwa okumanya nti I am a stakeholder, nkwatibwako si kwesuulirayo gwa naggamba.
Uganda oyinza okukakana nga mwe mulina ba graduates aba university nga bangi okusinga Ebungereza. Mwe mufokasinga nnyo ku degree. Eri bo bafokasinga nnyo nti byensomye mbijeemu omulimu n'enkola.
We are dreaming of a Uganda where at a young age there is such a relationship between parent and son, parent and daughter, where the daughter can say this is what I want.
Uganda gye twagala empya tesobola kubeerawo nga tewali mateeka. Amateeka agakola.
The Uganda we want. Welcome to the program, The Uganda we want. My name is Mulanze Robert, your host, and I'm so delighted and glad and to know that you were watching this program. Well, we've been receiving some feedback from you, our viewers, and we are very, very encouraged to hear that you do follow this program. And actually, you don't just listen or watch, but you do some of these things that these people I host here normally say to us and encourage us to live by, because it's very, very important. There are many people who say, okay, don't do as as I do, but just do as I say, and it's kind of, a different stuff to me. I wouldn't want to be doing something different and then encouraging you as well to do something different. So it's good to model what I say. So if you're watching us on Dream TV, thank you for joining us again. And also if you're watching us from Bunyoro TV, we are happy and glad that you're watching. And as well, for some of you who are listening to this program on Impact FM 98.4 Kampala City, 101.5 Masaka City, 107.6 Jinja City, and 103.7 Mbale City, and Busoga sub-region on 92.9 FM. Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who are watching this program on YouTube, The Uganda We Want, thank you so much. And as well on Victory Uganda app, and on our website, www.imc.uj. Well, once again, I host today Counsel, Wasswa, Fahad, Gisa'S. So glad that he has joined us as well to share his perspective on the kind of Uganda that he would love to see. Maybe you've been wondering, do lawyers and counsels really have a Uganda they want to see? Hey, I have one today, and he's been in this field for the last over 6 years. So probably you might watch this program after 7 years or after 10 years. You can do the math, okay? I didn't do well in mathematics, so you can do the mathematics after. He's the managing partner for Litmus Advocates, and this is the law firm. And he has agreed to come to our show and share his perspective on the kind of Uganda that he would love to see. So mutuule mukalire, amateeka tujja gezaako okunnyonnyola ebinaaba bikalubye. Don't worry, he will break up some of the things to us, since this is an educative transformational show for this nation, for this continent, and the entire world. Counsel, thank you so much for spending time to come and speak to the nation. I want to give you this opportunity to greet our viewers and our listeners.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malanzi. By names, I'm Wasswa Fahad Gisa'S, the managing partner of MS, Litmus Advocates. And I'm really so happy that I'm here with Mr. Malanzi, communicating to Ugandans. It is such a great opportunity for me to communicate to anyone out there and to receive feedback. You never know. Who is Wasswa Fahad?
Yeah.
Wasswa Fahad is a town-based or a Kampala lawyer, a Ugandan lawyer, who went to different schools to become what I am. I went to St. Michael International School, that is in Wakiso, for my secondary. Then in my primary, I went to Divine Grace Primary School, that is in Rakai. Then I also had time to go to Sir Apollo here in Kampala.
Wow.
Then from there, for my university.
Before university, did you go to any kindergarten or nursery?
By the time we started, that would be a wastage of time. Our parents were those ones who would not take that as something serious. We wouldn't do that. They would take you straight to P1.
Yeah.
And you had to be able to touch your ear.
You have to do this.
Yes, you touch your ear, and that was the measurement that you are fit for school.
And by the time you had hit, let's say 6?
Yes, you had to be 6 years.
6 or 7 years.
6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Yes, you had to be 6 or 7 years. So for university, I did my undergrad from Mukumba University.
Oh,
yes,
on Entebbe Road.
Yes, on Entebbe Road for the 4 years. Then from there, went to LDs when we used to have pre-entries, not like this time when the pre-entries have been scrapped off. So we did our pre-entries and we joined LDC for those 9 months. Wow. Where you don't lose anyone, you don't fall sick. You must be in class for 9 months. Then from there, I began up the profession. I began by working at Bilungi and Company Advocates as a legal assistant. Then from there as an associate for some good years, where I handled a lot of cases. Then I worked for Mr. Bilungi. He's a very senior lawyer. Mr. Bilungi is a very senior lawyer for about 30 years. And actually I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from that gentleman.
Yeah, I've been hearing about him.
Yes, Bilungi, Wycliffe Bilungi. I learned a lot from him and I give thanks to him. Then after a given period of time, I said, no, I have to do my own firm. So I began up Litmus Advocates, and this is where we are.
Wow.
For about now 7 years. Yes, this is where we are. And when I was beginning up Litmus Advocate, some people were like, it is too early for you. You need to begin up a firm when you're about some age. But I began up this firm when I was actually very young. And from the skill I got from Mr. Bilungi and other lawyers like Masco and others, I think I had to. And life has been very good with a lot of challenges, but we have to move on. Yeah.
Wow. It's good to have you, and thank you for sparing time to speak to our Ugandans. You are a Ugandan. Actually, Oli Mulongo.
Yes.
Oli Mulongo. And field eno gibaddemu. Waliwo koyogedde where I want to take you back briefly. You said by the time you joined LODC, something that I'm thinking about, and I'm like, you might say something that probably may try to help us understand how your work is moving on and the status of your work. If there's anything you would love to change, probably you can also say it. But you said by the time you were joining LODC, you had to go through the pre-entry exams.
Yes.
Now it's no longer there.
Yes, yes.
Do you think that is the way to go? And what can be done? Can we reverse that? Is it still possible? And what are the benefits of that?
You see, I hold a different perspective from other lawyers. I'm one person who really say that we should have the pre-entries back. Why? To be realistic, Mr. Mlanzi, when I was revising for my pre-entries to go to LDC, in those 2 to 3 weeks, the things legally I discovered and the things I read, they were quite more than the things that I'd read for the 4 years at undergrad. And it prepared me to be a kind of a lawyer who can handle anything amidst pressure and amidst a lot of challenges. And you see, now we always get students for clerkship from LDC. But other lawyers can bear me witnesses, other senior lawyers out there. The quality of students that we get is really not that we used to get when there were pre-entries. Because the only safeguard that would screen students from universities to the back course was the pre-entry. And now it was scrapped off. In the US, you can't do law as your first degree.
That is in the US?
Yes, it must be your second degree. Now, if we open the gates that everyone should come up and, go for the bar, it is good, but then we need a safeguard. We need to screen these people. And now we've seen LDC opening up, a lot of campuses, Mbala, Lila, where, and it has, it is taking everyone in. And I think I listened to the former director, that is, with due respect, my former director, Othembi, Mr. Othembi. And he was like, now the safeguard is within the LDC. But
so you don't need the pre-entry exam,
yes.
because the LDC,
it will screen.
It will screen
you from within. But for us who get these students, after they have sent these students to us for pre-entries, we see that there is still a lot. Because these students do not prepare. That pre-entry would make you prepare to go through a fantasy as a lawyer. And by the time you go to the LDC again, you are prepared again. But now the students we get, you get a student, you give him a mere ordinary letter to write. But the student cannot write an ordinary letter. Let me say you're writing an ordinary letter to a company for something. You are forwarding a document that a student cannot. And we think all this work must be done by the universities and LDs. There are those ones actually who are exceptionally good. I shouldn't say that all of them are bad. There are those ones who are exceptionally good, even now that we get. But the majority, that's why I'm saying we really need the pre-entries back.
So, Counsel, now when you say that, I'm trying to think in line with what you're saying. Should we say that now LODC's target went into numbers, not the quality? Let's have more numbers.
You see, they thought they would get the numbers and they would have the quality. They thought they would do it. But now, I think it is very hard to balance. You have about 10,000 students on different campuses all together, and you do not sieve the quality to have. And these students have paid money, school fees. They are looking forward to pass the papers. You also need to employ more lecturers. You get? And some lecturers actually that are in Kampala cannot go to Lila. So, and you find that most of the town cream lawyers are within Kampala. And in Lila, they wouldn't want to go because actually there is no business in Lila. Not that there are no good lawyers in Lila, they are there, very good lawyers, but then they are also very busy. So you find that even the lecturers that are going, or the PA, they call them professional advisors, that are going to Lila, are a little bit few. You get, and those ones who go, even those ones in Lila, they may have not been in what we call vigorous practice. You get that, like the vigorous practice we have here in Kampala. So you want those students in Lila to do the same paper with these ones in Kampala campus who are exposed, to a lot of lecturers that are readily available. Because to get a lawyer from Kampala here, until that lawyer, a very serious lawyer, who has serious business, to go and teach in Lila 2 times a week, you have to spend a lot for that lawyer to be in Lila. You get? So it is a little bit a challenge to LDC. And that's why that explains a lot of issues to do with the quality now we get. And you can't deny these students. I was talking to one of my partner, that is Counsel Agri, was complaining of the quality, and Counsel Geoffrey. Then I was like, now what can we do? They have come, let us help them. But sometimes, because this is business, a law firm is a business, you may find that I won't give these students some of the most sensitive documents of the firm to do. I'll do them myself. And I'll need time to do, or to take him through what he would have been.
You actually retooling them.
You get. So you tell a student, write for your legal opinion, and you look at it and you're like, is this a law student or a student from any other course? You get. So it is really challenging.
Yeah, well, I can actually see that it is really challenging. But now, the Uganda We Want show would love to hear from you. How can we go about that? How can we now eradicate that issue and have, lawyers who are well trained? Because if it is affecting you, lawyers who have firms, who are running, a law firm, how about now the client? How about now the person who is going to present a case to such a lawyer?
You see, the basic, if you go back to the Uganda We Want, as a lawyer, you owe a duty to the public.
Yeah.
You owe a duty to court, and you owe a duty to yourself, and then to a client. You get? That means that if you owe a duty to the public, that is the whole Uganda and the nation, or the world at large, to your client, who is, let me say, Mr. Mlanz is my client, I owe a duty to you. So, not to fall victim of professional negligence, I must be good at what I'm doing. But being good at what I'm doing goes back to the institutions that have trained me.
Okay.
You get? These institutions must not be looking at numbers. Quantity and quality. The quantitative measure of having or training students, and the qualitative measure of training students. The qualitative measure of training students would bring up a student who respects those 4 duties that I've told you. A student who will not fall victim of professional negligence. And you see, when I'm professionally negligent of my duty, you can sue me. You can either go to law counsel, that this and this and this lawyer has done this and this, which is a little bit negligent. He has given me advice that is not proper. You get? So if we are looking at training lawyers, basically in this country, then the question of quantity and quality in the institutions like LDC should be properly handled and balanced. Yes, if we decided to open up the gates of LDC and we are having over 1,000 lawyers, the question would be, is the quality that we are getting out really good to serve the Ugandans? Because if you see the number of lawyers, enrolled lawyers, and lawyers that are qualified to do what they are doing in Uganda is a little bit low. We are about 40 million people. And you may find that about 3,000 people have one lawyer. So we still
3,000?
Yes, have one lawyer. So we still need more lawyers. So by the fact that LDC is opening the gates and scrapping off the pre-entries, that may be okay. But now the element of quality, because it does not help us if you open up the gate and the quality that you are bringing is really bad. You've had scenarios where lawyers have done a lot of dubious activities and dubious dealings against their clients. The issue of land. You employ a lawyer today, you give the lawyer your titles and everything, the lawyer changes the land and transfers the land into his name, into the Fisher's people. I'm arguing a case now of the same in High Court, where the lawyer has done this in Kulambiro. You get? So, the element of quality is key. The Uganda we need is where, or the Uganda I need as a lawyer, is where the quality of lawyers we have is fit for the purpose. And we don't only look at the numbers. We have to balance it. As much as we are still very few lawyers, given the case backlogs, the issues that we have and everything, but the kind of Uganda I need is where institutions produce quality. Because if you produce a lawyer that is half-baked, then the client is going to get half-baked advice. It's like producing a doctor who is half-baked. And you go for an operation of that doctor. He will accidentally even forget cotton after operating, or give you a medical prescription that is not right. It affects the client.
Yeah.
And now, as lawyers, we are doctors of the mind. Trust me. So if you have such a lawyer,
any lawyer,
yes,
should be a doctor of the mind.
The doctor of the mind, yes. Because the legal issues affect the mind. And after affecting the mind, people begin friction. People begin fighting because the mind is not stable. Every time you see a lawyer, he's a doctor of the mind. You get? Now, in this scenario, we need the quality. We need the lawyers who are doing what they are trained to do and they are doing it the right way. However, we have also those lawyers who are really know what to do, but they are doing the opposite.
They neglect.
Yes, that is professional.
Intentionally.
But that one goes back to the institutional advice. Because the PA will come in class, a professional advisor, for only 2 to 3 hours. He will go away. We don't have time with these students to take them through what we call legal ethics. It is not given time. A client will come and give you 400 million. Is it your money?
It's not.
But it is there. You have it is on your disposal. Are you going to use it? So we have such scenarios. We have had issues where lawyers have been gunned down. We have had issues where lawyers have been killed in such issues. So the Uganda we need is where institutions, because institutions prepare professions. So where institutions not only look at quality, at quality or quantity, but also look at
Yeah, so Counsel, when you bring this thing back to the institutions, and I'm with a lawyer, where is it from the law that we as clients or Ugandans, we are supposed now to go to these institutions that are failing to do what they're supposed to do? How can we attack those institutions, if I may use that word? How can we now kuwaga
You see,
and bring those institutions back in line?
You see, in a civilized society,
yes,
we don't need to. I may disagree with you in principles, but I disagree with you to agree with you. Disagreements are healthy. You get it? How are they healthy? So long as the person that you are disagreeing with is willing to take it in good faith to change. That's a civilized society. We don't need to flex with these institutions, but the institutions should be ready to change.
How can we help our institutions that are training you people to make sure that they produce quality lawyers, not quantity lawyers in our country?
That's a very good discussion where we're discussing the quality and quantity lawyers. The two must balance. You see, when I'm training or when I'm supplying you with any commodity, let me say I have a company, I'm supplying you with anything. It is also key to listen to you, the one who takes my my commodity, to tell me if, let me say, I'm giving you books or pens, how are my pens working? How is my honey working? Now, these institutions supply commodities to the Ugandans. The consumer of their commodities, are the Ugandans. And which commodities are they supplying? The lawyers. You get LDC trains, or Law Development Center trains lawyers. For who? For Ugandans. To deliver a service to Ugandans. The question would be, has the Law Development Center taken initiative to talk to the Ugandans who are the recipients of these lawyers, how the lawyers are performing, so that in one way or the other, they model their training to fit the purpose? I think it would be the advice is to the Law Development Center now to know that we are training these lawyers for the nation and for the Ugandans. Can we take some time to listen to the Ugandans and know how is our commodity working?
Yeah, in business, we call that the final consumer.
Yes.
Is the final consumer happy with the product?
So that if now you've been training in this mode, you change. And I think they need also to emphasize legal ethics so much. There is a whole course unit of legal ethics, but now they need to emphasize it so much. The Uganda we need is a Uganda where a client would be comfortable to have 400 million, 700 millions at the lawyer's account or client's account, and is safe, that money will be safe. And another thing I should tell the viewers, you see, we get issues and challenges with viewers. Your lawyer should be your friend. You get, if you come and say Fahad is my lawyer, then Fahad or Wasswa should be your friend. Not just one day, that you have been arrested at Ginger Road police station. You ask one of your friends, do you know of any lawyer around? Then you're, okay, let me send you this number. No. As you have a pastor, you have an accountant, you have a doctor, you should also have a lawyer. You should have a family lawyer, a person lawyer, a person who is not going to come in when you have issues. A lawyer will not leave a case, a billion case in commercial court to come to Ginger Road police station for you. Unless he's your what?
Your lawyer.
Unless he's your lawyer. With the due respect, you will tell the presiding judge or the trial judge to stand over the matter or to adjourn the matter. But I cannot adjourn a matter at commercial court, when you've just called me, you see, I'm so and so, Mlanza has given me your number.
Could you help me out on this?
Me out? You get, I can't. So Ugandans should have courage, this culture of not taking lawyers for granted, and they have their personal lawyers. And another thing, people always say that lawyers are thieves, lawyers are what? But a lawyer will only be good when you need him. They'll keep on telling you all of that lawyers are this, lawyer are this, but the day you'll need a lawyer, the day you'll call, these days we have what we call Gambano. The day you'll call Gambano cannot apply for bail for you.
I first heard that word when I was in December.
Yes,
There's a case
yes.
I was holding.
Yes.
Gambano.
Hey. And that is impunity, I think.
Yes,
that
it
is impunity.
It is.
Yes. Recently, I was somewhere where I do sauna from, and there is something that had got a phone had got lost mysteriously. You get, and somebody was promising to prosecute somebody because his brother works at the convoy of the president. Then I was like, this is being unserious. You get, this is impunity. The Uganda we need is not that type of Uganda. You get, the Uganda we need is that type of Uganda when somebody knows that if there is anything that is genuine being done, I'll go to the courts of law and everything will take its course.
Let the law speak.
Let the law speak. The rule of law, not the rule by law. You know, those two things are different. The rule of law and the rule by law. You get? So we should have that. And how do we have it? By you having your lawyer. You're not going to call me just because Mlanz gave you my number and I'm arguing a client's case at commercial division before a judge and I stand over. You should have your lawyer. Ugandans should know that. And Ugandans are also complaining about lawyers here and there. But have you created a relationship with your lawyer?
So if I create a relationship with a lawyer, would that stop the lawyer from being a thief or from being from not being expensive? Because normally the price tag also
you see, we are mixing,
comes in and
we are mixing these things, Mr. Mlanzi.
Hey.
Being a thief is a moral issue. It's not a legal issue. It being a moral issue, somebody is either a thief or is not. Whether he's a lawyer or he's a doctor or he's a what, is a thief.
Oh.
It is a moral issue. Somebody will always be a thief morally. So that is not a legal issue. And if you are a thief, then the legal element comes in to punish you, to deter you from that.
But it starts with your
morality. Yes. It is a moral issue. So if a lawyer is a thief, that is his moral issue. The question would be, don't you have other lawyers that are fine? They are there. And to show you that it is a moral issue, a lawyer would be a senior lawyer of 30, 40 years, but would be a thief. And you'll meet a young boy from LDC of about 1 to 2 years in practice, and he's upright.
They even try to bribe him, refuses.
He refuses.
But this one of 40, because morally is a thief.
He's a thief.
He will accept the bribe.
He will accept. You get it? That's why we're having also, you will find that
wow.
we're having some MPs, you get, who are morally that. And that one does not mean that we don't have other MPs that are what?
Are not good, yeah.
You get?
They are not thieves, yeah.
So, theft and other indiscipline issues are moral issues. But we bring in the legal element to deal with those what? Moral issues.
And there are lawyers, according to your experience, who probably, morally, they are not, they are not thieves, but probably the nature of the job makes them to become thieves and they end up becoming thieves.
No.
Because at the end of the day, they make your work, you as lawyers, we generalize you, we put in one basket that
yes,
lawyers are thieves.
You see, I would tell you that we already say that character is like pregnancy. You get. You can hide it when it is still the pregnancy is still what in its infancy.
2 months, 3 months.
3 months.
But by the time it is
you
5.
reach an extent when you can't hide it. It is there. Everyone can see that on such and such a day you had the conjugal rights with your partner and now you are pregnant. You get what I'm saying? So that lawyer that you're talking about, it cannot be changed. No one that can change your character. No one can change your character. If you're a thief, you're a thief. You get? We can only put you in prison to try to scare you out. Sometimes if you have been stealing, let me say, cassava in the village, next time we deter you from stealing bunches of matoke. You get? But you remain a thief. It is a moral issue. You get?
So it has to be dealt differently. From the law
Yes.
rules and okay.
Yeah, it's a moral issue. So as we are coming to a conclusion, I'll tell you that basically the Uganda we need is that of the rule of law. And rule of law has a lot of tenets. But you cannot have that Uganda when you've also not been dealing with the moral issue. Our people must be educated.
Who should educate them, Counsel?
You see, one of the US presidents said, before you ask for what the US has done for you, what have you done for the US? We shouldn't wait for government to do some of these things. You get? Some of us in the position where we are, and some of the viewers, don't neglect some of these things to government. It is corporate responsibility. Do it. Enlighten them on a little that you know. So that by 20 to 40 years, you have a better Uganda. You get? We may not be where we want to be, but this is not where we used to be in 40, 30 years back.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is the corporate responsibility.
Yeah, but I think when you told me the time you started school, those are the times that people were really embracing corporate social responsibility. What changed? What led to the change right now that people are not concerned? In fact, if I find your son or your daughter doing something not good, I'm actually scared to even correct her or him.
You see, Mr. Mlamzi, there is what we call capitalism and socialism.
Capitalism
and socialism.
And socialism. Okay, another term.
Yes.
Well, of course, we'll come back to rule of law. I still remember.
Yes.
But
capitalism emphasizes individualism.
That is capitalism.
Yes. It emphasizes individualism. You as Mr. Mlamzi, your economy, and you're doing well. You get it? Your property, your money, your bank account.
It's about me.
Regardless of others. That's capitalism. You get? Socialism or emphasizes togetherness of the community. Where we used to be, the land is ours. There is no need of putting a fence. Those are all ideas of capitalism. But these days, everywhere you go, you find a fence. My family and my family inside. You get? So, because it has its advantages, but because of that element, it has eroded a lot of African.
Is that the cause of estates?
That is capitalism. That is capitalism.
Estates?
Yes, estates. This is mine. This is my land. I fence it. This is my bank account. This is our land. Me and my family, father, mother. You get? It has its advantages with, we shall have a certain group of people that will develop very fast, but the gap between the poor and the rich will also
have to widen. Yeah.
Yes, that's capitalism. Yet socialism, if you remember the Ujama policy in Tanzania of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, it would encourage the general growth of all people. But it's a disadvantage. It delays the development of the country. Because even when you have fast thinkers, they must think together with the slow
thinkers.
Yes. So that one explains what happened and what. This is the capitalism.
So as a nation, we are
a capitalist. Yes, we are a capitalist nation, a capitalist republic. And this is something that came up with the West. And the West was divided into two, the East and the West. The East was advertising for the socialism. The East had the Mao Zedong and others. That's a lot. If we discuss that, that's a lot. And the Russia, they were advertising togetherness. You get, we grow as a team. Yet the US, Britain, France were like, no, capitalism. If it is Mr. Mulanz, that's it. If Mulanz is thinking very fast, let us give him each and everything to develop, so that others should also be inspired by him. But the cap would be what?
It would be too much.
It would be too much.
Yeah.
So the two ideologies have their advantages and disadvantages.
So the Western influence has has made us and led us into where we are,
yes,
as Uganda.
We can't run away from it. We can't run away from it. That's it. But you see, we cannot also discuss. I don't know whether we shall discuss it in the next episode. We can't discuss the Uganda we need if we have not discussed the issue of land.
Definitely, we are going to come into that. Before we conclude this episode, there's something that is haunting me, and I want to ask you, Counsel, do you think there is still life in our constitution?
You see, that question is serious. One day I was listening to one of my lecturer.
Yes.
Kirunda. The law is a very beautiful thing. A very beautiful thing. You remember the Public Order Management Bill when we still had the Super Minister Amama Mbabazi? You remember that time? He came up with it, and you had to gather, but on the authority of police here and there, it caught up with him. You get?
Yeah.
And the law today may look as if it does not have life, but does not die. It is alive. You get? The right to bail. Whether you disrespect it and do what you want, it will remain there. The law will always have people who will respect it. If, let me say, the 1970, 71, 72 regime was not respecting the law, I can give you an example of where President Idi Amin expelled the Asian in 1972, the economic war. But we had the law, the right to property in Uganda. These were their properties. You get? And the constitution by then also was clear. The 1967 constitution was clear that every Ugandan had the right to property. You get? And even those who are not Ugandan who had properties in Uganda had right over. But now the president has come up and has trashed all of that, suspended the constitution, and now is expelling the Asian.
As a field marshal.
Yes, expelling the Asian. But now in 1986, when President Museveni came in, he respected the law. And we had the law to do with the Asian departed properties. Some of them came and repossessed their what?
Their properties.
Their properties.
Yeah.
So if the error that we have or that we may have this time around is disrespecting the law, that one does not mean that the law has died. No. It has not died. Actually, it is still working.
So what dies? Or
the
who
spirit.
dies? The spirit.
The spirit to respect the law. In one of the epitome reader by then may be law. But the law remains. And the law remains clear. Let me tell you, this is a phone.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody will come and tell you it is a cup. But we need to change it from being a phone to a cup.
No.
It will remain a phone. So the constitution still has life. Actually, I was discussing this in a certain summit in Nairobi, and I was telling them that the law does not die. And there is nothing beautiful as the law. If the regime that is incumbent does not respect the law, we don't have the rule of law and others, that regime will go, but the constitution will remain. You get? The regime goes. How many regimes have we been having since 1962? Many. They have done a lot of atrocities. As Uganda left?
7, yeah.
As Uganda left?
No.
Uganda is here. So the regime goes with its people and other people will come. You get? So we still, actually, in Nairobi, I was telling these people that Uganda has the best laws. I'm telling you, have the best laws.
I've heard it not only from you, but even from other people.
Yes.
I was with...
when you go in Kigali, here you have the KCCA Act. In Kigali, they have the Kigali. They just remove.
Even in Rwanda.
Yes.
I knew that from Kenya. Even Rwanda. Because when you look at the constitution of Kenya, there are few things that really change from ours.
These people, they just get exactly what is here and apply it there. I was reading some of their acts and exactly. And our acts came first in time. We've had a lot of legal minds that have been removed from Uganda to go in South Sudan to be part of the constitution making committee, to go to give advice in Kenya.
Yeah, the late Jacob, Right Honorable Jacob
Yes.
Olanya, he was...
Yes. Even my former teacher of legal drafting, of legislative drafting, now her lordship Nakachwa. I think she's in Mukono now.
She's in Mukono.
Yes, she was in Sudan.
Wow.
You get? So Uganda has some of the best minds, legal. You get?
Okay, Counsel, we're about to sign out, but again, the spirit that you talked about that has died to respect the law, how can we revive that?
You asked me, I've not said that the spirit has died, but you asked me what happens if the law is not respected. And I told you, sometimes the spirit within individuals and the epitome leaders,
exactly,
sometimes the spirit dies.
So we should let it be like that.
No.
So what should we do
the
then?
law is, that's why we have what we call the constitutional court. The constitutional court is there to keep the constitution in implementation and in respect. If you feel there is anything that is done in a manner that is unconstitutional, you go to the constitutional court. We talk to these people. We sue them in court. You get?
Yeah. Counsel, I didn't want to sound like I am, pinning you on the wall. But
it's okay. Yes.
Do you, according to your experience in this thing that we are talking about, do Ugandans respect the constitution of Uganda?
Yeah, I would say they respect the constitution of Uganda. Though, you see, I didn't pass physics. I didn't like physics. Not I didn't pass it, but I didn't like physics.
Yeah.
But I appreciated a few issues and a few factors in physics. There's what we call the efficiency of a machine. The efficiency of a machine, some of the viewers that do physics can bear me witness. It can't be 100%. Well, you get. The Ugandans actually respect law. You will go to court, apply for bail and get bail. You get. You'll go to court, sue somebody in court and get justice. But that one does not withdraw the fact that there are some instances that affect the legal profession and the rule of law.
Counsel, I will come back to you tomorrow in our second episode. Our viewers, allow me stop here for today. I am still with Counsel Wasswa Fahad Gisa. He's sharing his perspective on the kind of Uganda that he would love to see. Let's sign out for now. Catch you in the second episode.